Hello and welcome to FreedomFest TV. I'm Gina Carr, the producer of FreedomFest TV, and I'm so glad that you could join us today. We're going to be talking with the actual producer of the Anthem Libertarian Film Festival. It's going to be fantastic. And I just want to tell you, though, that today the rates are going to be going up for the block of rooms at the hotel Planet Hollywood. So if you haven't gotten in your reservations yet, you need to do that. I'm hearing some background noise. I'm sorry, it's a little distracting there. I'm not sure what's going on, but so glad you guys could join us. It's going to be fantastic this year. We're going to have Judge Andrew Napolitano, Senator Rand Paul, all kinds of libertarians, everything from conservatives to very liberal, but a lot of libertarians in between. So it's going to be a fantastic event, July 13th through the 16th. And if you join us, go to FreedomFest TV and put in the code capital FFTV, and that will save you $100 on registration. So with that, let's turn it over to our host today. And he is the former chief enterprise blogger of Skype. He's the former editor-in-chief of AT&T's award-winning business blog. He's a member of the International Speakers Hall of Fame, traveling all around the world speaking about marketing and technology. And with that, I give you Terry Brock, host of FreedomFest TV and the MC of this year's Freedom Fest.
Well, Gina, thank you very much. And today I am so excited to be able to show you some video, some films that are out there. And to do that, we're going to look at these from a libertarian, freedom, liberty loving point of view. And joining us now is Joanne Skousen. Joanne, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to tell you about our films that we have this year.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been actually in preparation for this. I went over, I took a look at it on my other computer over here, and I'm looking at it, I'm going, oh my goodness, these are great. I got to see that one. Oh, and that one too. Oh, and that one too. So I can see a lot of them there. First of all, I want to tell people where they can go and they can find this at, I'll have you tell us a little bit about what it is and where they can find it first before we get into any of the specific videos.
Great. You can go to anthemfilmfestival.com and you'll be able to see right on our homepage a listing of all the films with a synopsis, the directors, the time that they'll be screening at the festival, and also a trailer. So you can watch a 2 to 3 minute trailer to find out what it's going to be about. You can spend the entire 3.5 days of Freedom Fest just in the theater watching movies the whole time. And I have actually had people who do that. We have a film lovers pass, and we have some people who come and just watch movies the entire time. It's great.
Is popcorn provided?
Actually, this year we're working on that. We think we're going to be able to finally have popcorn at a reasonable price, and you can buy some popcorn, buy a drink, and sit and watch the movies. And we have the movies during coffee breaks because we have these great little short narratives and short documentaries that we show during the coffee breaks. We have films during the lunch breaks, and then we have some fabulous documentaries this year.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I particularly like the idea of it because so often what we see in the realm of video and films out there in most of the world has a certain slant on it that is not in favor of freedom and liberty. It's really more in favor of coercion from either a government source or somewhere else. And it's so refreshing to go to a place and see, here's something that really celebrates liberty and celebrates freedom. Every year, it's always fun to see that. So tell us this year, as we look at Freedom Fest coming up in really just a few short days from now, what we can expect to see there, and some that are the highlights of the festival and some that are particularly exciting to you.
Yeah, you've hit on a lot of the reasons that we started the Anthem Film Festival. Hollywood doesn't like business. Hollywood likes to have movies about people getting things fixed for them rather than fixing things themselves. So we wanted to provide a venue for filmmakers who care about liberty, who care about protagonists who make things happen for themselves, who don't always turn to the government for help, and also filmmakers who point out some of the problems that we're encountering as our freedoms are being destroyed. So that's why we did the film festival. But not all of our films are about anti-government. A lot of times it's just about making your own life better, and in the process, making other people's, the whole world better. Let me tell you just about some of the documentaries we have this year.
Yes, please.
One of them is called The Abolitionists. It's about a man named Tim Ballard. It's a documentary. It's about a man named Tim Ballard who was working for the CIA and later for Homeland Security. And in the process of his job, he realized that many, many hundreds, thousands of children are being kidnapped, little children being kidnapped and sold into sexual slavery. It broke his heart. And so he left his job with the government, started a nonprofit organization, and he now has a crew of people who go around the world doing operations that rescue these children who've been in slavery. And I really admire him, and he's going to be there himself to talk about the film afterwards. I'm really proud of that film. We have another one called Of Dogs and Men. We've seen so many videos recently about abuse toward people, police abuse toward people, but this is abuse toward pets, dogs that are just in their homes, in their yards, and the police, because they're afraid they might be hurt, they just shoot the dogs and worry about it later. It's an important film, and afterwards we will have a panel that includes people in position of authority to change these things. So they're going to be talking about solutions to the problem, ways to control this problem. And in fact, John McAfee, who was running for president on the Libertarian ticket, and also is the founder of the McAfee Computer Securities, he's going to be on the panel because it happened to him. His own dog was killed.
Yes.
By a police officer. So that's going to be an interesting film. Another great movie is called Deep Web, and it's about the Ross Ulbricht case and the Silk Road and Bitcoin, and George Gilder will be on that panel afterwards. But it's not just
and then Ulbricht will be on there as well.
She is.
She will be. She's the mother of Ross and a former guest here on FreedomFest TV, just like John McAfee was a former guest here on FreedomFest TV. And so it's one of the nice things about going there is you not only get a chance to enjoy these films, you go, wow, this is great. It'd be fun just watching it at home, eating your popcorn or beverage of your choice, whatever. We're libertarians, like whatever you want to do, don't harm anyone else, and consume whatever you want. But we also get a chance to interact with the people who are either very opinionated or directly involved in that film. I think that is an extra added attraction.
I agree with you. I mean, when you go to a documentary and you learn something that you haven't known before, and then you're able to talk to the director, talk to the people who were involved, ask them questions. We have another film called Seized. It's a short documentary about the problem of civil asset forfeitures. And as they say, there are two kinds of people: the ones who've never heard of civil asset forfeitures and the ones who've had it happen to them. In this case, it is legal for the police to pull you over for whatever reason. And if they see that you have money in your car and they think it was maybe being used in commission of a crime, they can take it and they can keep it, and it's perfectly legal. And then it's up to the person to challenge the court and go as a plaintiff to the court to sue to get the money back. So they don't even get the help of public defender because they're the plaintiff in the case. One of the young men that this happened to is going to be there. Heartbreaking story again about a man who had a college basketball scholarship, took some money out of his bank account to go pay his tuition, was pulled over by the police. They took his money, and as a reason, he finally got it back, part of it back, but as a result, he wasn't able to pay his tuition. He couldn't go to school. Just a terrible story, and it's happening all over the country. And because of this film, more about this is getting out, and some states now, 30 states now, I think it is, are starting to have laws against it.
Yes, I know. We're in Orlando, Florida, as we're recording this, and our governor here signed a bill just recently that said that has to have real due process every time they do that, and they have to have a cause as to why that one was associated with a crime. They can't just confiscate it. So we're making some progress, but I think we've got a long way to go, and the film is going to be very helpful in opening a lot of eyes.
Yeah, the film, and then followed by the panel with the young man, one of the people it's happened to, plus an officer from LEAP who is going to be there to talk about it as well. So that's going to be a great film. You know, another thing that I've been so excited about this year is the quality of our narratives. Narratives are tough because you have to have actors, and when you don't have a lot of money to pay your crew, a lot of times the quality of the acting isn't very good. And that's one reason we don't usually have a lot of narratives at the Anthem Film Festival, but this time the quality is amazing. So we have 3 great comedies, and we have 4 wonderful dramas, and all of them focus on various aspects of liberty. One is about a mother who is desperately trying to find a bone marrow transplant for her daughter, but the problem is they find a match. The woman is willing to do it, but then she can't take the time off from work that her recovery will require, and she can't afford to do the donation. Now, the mother is more than willing to pay whatever it would cost this woman to be out of work, but she's not allowed to because it's illegal. And so what do you do when a law like that prevents you from being able to save your child's life? A wonderful quality of the acting, the cinematography. Another one called The Return that I really like by Matthew Chevchak. And it tells the story of an immigrant woman working for a family based on a true story in Southern California and how she's treated. And the cinematography on that one is just glowing. I love it. And the actress who plays the main character, it's so vivid. So I'm really proud of that film as well. But we also have some great comedies. One of them is called Love Gov, From First Date to Mandate. And it's a great metaphor where the young man represents the government. His name is Gov. And the woman's name is Libby, for Libertarian, or Liberty. And all the things that he does to try and take care of her and protect her from herself, keep her from making mistakes. And so it's a great comedy that makes the point that we need to do things for ourselves and not trust the government because it quietly takes us away from our freedoms.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been going through some of these here on the site. Look on this side. By the way, we're getting some feedback right now. Are you hearing that on your end there, Joy?
I can hear a little bit of an.
I'm thinking you're using the internal microphone. You might turn your mic or your volume down just a little bit there, because that can get some of that feedback there. That seems to have cleared it up. Thank you. And I've been looking at these videos over here and just going, wow, this is great. Like, for instance, one you have here, Can We Take a Joke by Ted Balaker. I've seen a little bit about this on Reason.tv, but tell us a little bit about this film, Can We Take a Joke?
First, I have to tell you a little bit about Ted Balaker and his wife, Courtney. They have been Anthem alums from the very beginning. I first met Ted when he submitted a short documentary, and his wife, he's a documentarian and his wife is a narrative filmmaker, and they both had films at my festival 5 years ago. Both of them ended up winning in their categories. And he has been back a couple of times with short documentaries. And now they both have these feature films out that are fabulous. So I love the Balakers. I love that they take turns directing and producing each other's films. I call them the power couple of libertarian filmmaking. So Can We Take a Joke? It talks about the problem of free speech on campus and trigger points and political correctness, but more than political correctness, it's the fact that if someone is offended, they will take away your right to free speech by causing protests and stopping you from saying what you want to say. And so it features comedians like Penn Jillette and Kareth Foster and Lisa Lampanelli and Gilbert Gottfried, and it talks a lot about the Lenny Bruce case and the censorship he went through. And it's funny, it's outrageous, and it's so important and vital today because we are losing our right to talk on campus. As a college professor myself, I'm always thinking, okay, who's going to be offended by what I just said? How can I challenge my students, get them to think outside of their own parameters and think about new things if they might be offended by it? So it's an important film and it's a fun film, and the Balakers will be there to talk about it, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an important topic because we're seeing more and more of that on campuses and elsewhere where people are more concerned of offending. Now, there's a difference between saying something that would offend someone and physically harming them. Physically harming, of course, we oppose. But when I think particularly in an intellectual environment where we should cherish and cultivate dissension, we should cultivate a variety of different points of view so that we can examine it. I think that we need to address that. So I was particularly glad to see that. And by the way, again, the place where you can go, those of you that are watching this, you want to go over there to that the place to see it. And Joanne, tell us again, where can they go online to be able to see some of these and to view some of the trailers?
If you'd like to see the movies and their trailers, go to anthemfilmfestival.com. The complete listing of our schedule for this year is right on the homepage. Just scroll down, you'll see the posters, the synopsis, and the trailers, and also the screening times. We screen at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas from July 13th to the 16th. It's part of FreedomFest, and our films are shown in the Sin City Theater right on the mezzanine level of Planet Hollywood, so very convenient to get there. If you come to Freedom Fest and have a Freedom Fest registration, your Anthem tickets are free. But if you just want to come and spend 3.5 days watching great movies, you can get the Film Lovers Pass. And it gets you into all the movies, the exhibit hall, the opening night cocktail reception. So, and it's a real value.
Very good. Now, also, I haven't seen on the site. I'm on the site right now on my other computer over here, to see what it's like, tickets and submission things. If someone says, "Gee, I really like those. I want to be able to buy those and be able to watch them at home or rent them or something online," what's the procedure they can go through so that they could watch them, enjoy them, say, with the family or a group of friends at home?
It takes a while. These are festival films. Most of them are still looking for distribution, so they're not available. Most of them are not yet available, but they will be soon. So after the festival, I always publish a list of the films and how you can get them. So that will be posted after the festival. Most of them are not available yet. Okay. Another set of films that I'm really excited about because they address the same issue but from a different perspective. A pair of films called Panopticon by Jared Sue and I Spy. And they both focus on the problem of government surveillance, government snooping. But one is a drama and kind of a sci-fi thriller. Panopticon is a sci-fi thriller. I Spy is a spoof. It's very funny and very fun. And yet both of them address the same issue. So we'll show those two films together in one breakout session, and then we'll have a panel discussion afterwards about the topic, but also about the genre and how they chose to use their different genres to make the same point. I think that's going to be really interesting, not only for the audience in terms of entertainment, but also as artists and filmmakers to think about what's the best way to make your point.
Yes.
And those are being shown at 9 o'clock on Friday morning.
Yeah, I like it. And you've got it on the site there, when they're going to be shown. So if we can say, "Oh, I really want to see that one," just make a note of it, put it into your calendar. You'll have it, carry it with you on your smartphone. You'll know the alarm going off that, hey, in 10 minutes, we've got this going, and you'll want to get over there. And I think it's particularly good because when I think of Freedom Fest, one of the things that excites me about it so much, it's really an intellectual feast. It's a place to go and you learn so many different topics. And now, because you have the film festival there, we have the Anthem Film Festival, it gives us a chance to really explore even more. And again, as we mentioned earlier, not just watch the videos, watch the film, that's great, but also we can see the people. I remember it was a year ago, or maybe it was a couple years ago, that you had Colin Campbell talking about a video that he had, and Nelson, his son, and they showed the video, and they're right there. They introduced the video. We were watching it with them there. And then when they finished, it was a fabulous movie. We really enjoyed that. Then they had a discussion, a panel discussion. And I find that is one of the things about Freedom Fest that is so exciting, that it gives you all this wow kind of material. You can say, "Oh yeah, well, we're going to take your wow and raise it to even more wow and more awesome." Yeah. So we really appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. That film was called Plant Pure Nation. And you're right, it was a great film. And they brought in a wonderful audience from outside. Like I said, you don't have to be part of Freedom Fest in order to come to the film festival. And I think probably 50 of the people in that audience were just local Las Vegans who wanted to come and learn more about Plant Pure Nation and meet one of their heroes, Colin Campbell. So yes, it's great being able to have people like him. John Mackey has been on a number of my panels. We have Yaron Brook and Warren Coates, and like I said, John McAfee. So George Gilder's going to be on one of my panels. So I'm very proud of that. And libertarianism isn't always about fighting the government and bad things that happen, although a lot of times it is. One of our short documentaries is called Intrepid Spirits. And it's about the problem that veterans often experience when they come back from war, and they're traumatized, physically traumatized, sometimes mentally traumatized. And there's a doctor who is working very closely with veterans in these new therapies that are helping them to overcome these issues. So it's a very uplifting, happy kind of film. Instead of being government bad, It's about technology, innovation, and healing good. And I think it's good to remember that libertarianism isn't all about bad things happening. It's often about look at what the human spirit, the human mind can accomplish.
Yeah, hold on a second.
By answering the phone.
Yeah, the phone here is going off, and the mute doesn't seem to be working. So that's always a hassle, but part of the fun of technology.
And notice how I stopped to let you answer the phone.
Yes.
I could have kept going and covered for you, but no, the phone rings, we stop.
Well, that's right, exactly. We'll just keep going. But I do want to add something about that. I like what we're doing because this year the theme is Freedom Rising, and it's something that's very good. So often in the past, in liberty groups and libertarian gatherings, so we talk about, hey, the government's doing this wrong, they're doing that wrong. Well, we understand that, we're with on that, but I think equally we have to look at the opportunities that are there. Technology is emerging that's making possible what was impossible before, and now we're celebrating that more than ever at this year's Freedom Fest. And I think what you're doing with the Anthem Film Festival is giving you the ability to do that, to be able to see a lot of what's going on and being able to use it and how you're doing on the technology. One other thing that I want to point out here is I'm looking at the page over here at anthemfilmfestival.com. I'm looking, see, there's also a lot of short documentaries that you have. Tell us about what the concept is behind these. And I'm looking at those going, ooh, I like that particularly well, and what's going to be there and the advantages of those as well.
I love the shorts because when you have a time space, a limited time space, you're really pushed into putting all the information as densely as you can. So you get a lot of information very quickly. So I love it. One kind of interesting short documentary we have is called Mule Living on the Outside. It's about a man who has his mules, and he is determined to be able to live his life on the outside. In other words, outside of buildings, and to live free and to go where he wants to go and take his animals and camp. And he's just a really interesting character. And the government has tried to shut him down and put him away because he causes distractions. And in the way there's right, because with that film, we have to look at two kinds of freedoms. This man's freedom to live his life the way he wants to, and other people's freedoms not to have distractions when people are driving along the road, not to have to smell the smell of mule droppings, safety issues, those kinds of things. So it's an interesting discussion. When does one person's freedom end and another person's coercion begin? But he's a delightful person. It was one of the last films that came on, and I think it's 11 minutes, and just a really sweet film.
Yeah, it was one thing I really liked about these. I was noticing that the amount of time, they're much shorter, and that works very well with our lifestyle. Like, for instance, many of us that are working on our own, or maybe you've got a few moments at the office, and you can take a quick lunch break right there at your desk, and you can watch some of these, be able to enjoy them. And I think this is particularly good that we have videos like this. And again, going back to the benefit of having it there at Freedom Fest, a lot of times there'll be an issue presented, and we go, ooh, that is an interesting point of view. What would be the true libertarian, the most freedom-inducing way to approach this? And you have many other intelligent people there that you can talk to, where people in the audience can say, well, I think about this, or I think maybe we ought to do it this way, or a counter view from that. So the whole point of it is really supporting that intellectual feast that we have there at Freedom Fest. And the film is just another way to enhance that and make it even better.
That's what I love about movies. Movies are a great way to discuss, to see a story, have a conflict, get to know characters that you care about, and then to discuss what happens to them in terms of how it might affect you, how you might react in the same situation. And talking about these short narratives and short documentaries, it's perfect for Freedom Fest because we have, as you know, we have 12 breakout sessions that go on at the same time, and you're having to choose, what am I going to do? Right. But these short films fit beautifully inside a coffee break. We have a 30-minute coffee break, so you can grab a cup of coffee, come into the theater, watch a 12-minute movie, and you still have time to go out and run to the bathroom and get back to your next breakout session. So that's why we do these shorts right during the breakout sessions, and also during lunch. You can come on in. We're going to have popcorn and drinks for sale, and you can come in and watch a movie during lunch. And then our documentaries cover 2 breakout sessions, but it works really well.
Excellent. Well, it is just one of those features in Freedom Fest that gives us a chance to connect with others, to expand our minds, to learn about new topics from really smart people who know these topics and have put the time, money, and energy into developing a film, so that they've got something there. That I like the way I remember in undergrad school when I took a course in drama. They told us one of the reasons we have theater and movies is because you're able to experience much more of life in a very short time. It compresses it down so that you get a more enriched experience in that hour and a half, 2 hours, or however long the video is. You're watching that, you're learning more, and you become a better person for it. And now we're getting a chance to do that, filtered and tightly focused on issues, of course, on liberty, but on many other life-enhancing and well-being kinds of topics. I really appreciate what you're doing with that.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me on. So just to remind people, if you want to know more about the movies, you can go to anthemfilmfestival.com. You'll see the trailers, you'll see the screening times. Join us at Freedom Fest, July 13th to the 16th at Planet Hollywood. Gina mentioned today's the last day to take advantage of the hotel discounts. So if you haven't done that, do it now.
Yes, indeed.
And the film festival.
Gina has joined us here again. So as our producer of Freedom Fest TV, Gina, I'll turn it over to you for any comments that you might have.
Sure. I have some final comments, but I think Joanne was still saying something about the Anthem Film Festival. I wanted to hear the last of what she was saying.
Oh, all I was going to end with is that you should come to Freedom Fest for the entire conference. It's the most amazing spectacle you'll ever attend. But if you just want to sit and watch movies for all day long, you can take advantage of the Film Lovers Pass. It's $149 for all 4 days. It includes the exhibit hall and the breakout sessions. I mean, not the breakout sessions, the cocktail reception and gala opening night on Wednesday night. So all of that for $149. And you can go to the Anthem Film Festival for tickets for that.
That's fantastic. And, speaking of ways to save money, the hotel discount right now, as well, we have a roommate list. So if you're saying, hey, even the hotel looks a little expensive, we have a roommate list. So after you've registered, you can check with us in our private Facebook group or check with the people at registration about a roommate list. And so you can room with somebody. So that's a great thing. And then also there's airfares. There's an airfare war going on right now. As Joanne says, it's a war even libertarians can love. So get in on the airfare war that's going on right now, and you can still book great flights. I was just looking earlier today, and you can still get great flights to Las Vegas from most places in the country. So encourage you to come, save $100 on your registration by going to freedomfest.com and entering FFTV for Freedom Fest TV. That's all caps. And then also, we're just going to have a fantastic time there. It'll be my 3rd time. I think Terry's been to almost all of them. This is number 9. So, Terry, you've been to almost all. Why do you keep going back, Terry, year after year? Did you not get it right the first time?
Well, I kind of keep going back, kind of like I enjoy eating most every day, and it's like I want to do it. It's like, oh my, I had a really good meal yesterday, but I'm going to have another good one today. And for me, they say Freedom Fest is 2 things. Number one, yes, it is that intellectual feast. I love learning. I love listening to really smart people. I particularly like hearing different points of view. There's a lot of debates on different issues that are very important, and you get this person who's really smart that I really respect on this side, and here's another person who's really smart who I really respect on this side, and I get a chance to hear that. But I think also the real benefit is you put yourself there in the midst of a wonderful group of liberty lovers, people around you that you just see them. They're generally friendly people. We have most people there have embraced the non-aggression principle. They're not going to initiate force or coercion against you. That's kind of nice to know. But you get a chance to meet people who are really brilliant, who are really successful, who are opinionated in certain areas, kind of like we are. And what a wonderful way to connect with them. It's not a place that I want to go and try to sleep a lot. No, I want to keep going. It's like, okay, we'll rest later. All right. This is not the time to sleep. There's a time to do that later. But you're getting the chance to be around all those people. So that's why I am enjoying going there as a participant this year. I'm honored to be a master of ceremonies. And so I get a chance to be on the stage looking out at what's going on, seeing everybody and all the wonderful people. And really, those of you that are watching this, looking forward to seeing you. And I would encourage you to make your goals before you go. Make sure that you are thinking about what you want to do, seeing people, the different sessions you want to go to, and just get ready to hustle like crazy. And when you finish, yeah, you'll probably be a little tired, but you're going to be glad you did it. And that's what we're looking forward to. Now, but before we close this one down, though, Joanne, I want to turn it over to you for any final comments about how people can find out more about Anthem Film Festival, how they can find out more about Freedom Fest, and anything that you would like to add.
Thank you, Terry. And I just want to say we are so excited to have you here as MC for us at Freedom Fest this year. You're going to be great, and we're just so happy to have you. To learn more about the films for the Anthem Film Festival, go to anthemfilmfestival.com. You can see all the synopses, the whole list, their screening times and everything. If you'd like to buy the Film Lovers Pass, you can go just click on tickets and it'll take you to the landing page. But if you sign up for Freedom Fest, you get to do everything. The general sessions, the breakout sessions, and the film festival is included. And it's at Planet Hollywood, July 13th to the 16th. We hope to see you there.
Excellent. Well, on behalf of the entire Freedom Fest team and Freedom Fest TV, thank you for joining us and take advantage of this opportunity. You know, there's been times in life when you said, oh, I wish I would have done that. Or I wish I would have done this kind of thing. Or maybe you don't know that if you had seen a particular movie or you had read a particular book, you could have been even better. Well, here's your opportunity. We're telling you about it now. You want to check out the Anthem Film Festival. You want to see that. You want to be at Freedom Fest. If it's one of those things that, well, I don't know, do it. You'll be glad you did. And you will be glad that you're there. You can thank me later, and you'll thank yourself now for doing it. So on behalf of the entire team, I'm Terry Brock. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you at Freedom Fest in Vegas in just a few days.
Bye.
Bye.